I was standing in the hospital hallway when the doctor told me my newborn twins would never walk, never talk, and might not survive past their first birthday, and my wife turned to me and said, "I can't do this." Those 6 words shattered my world more than any diagnosis ever could. My name is Francis, and I'm about to tell you a story about love, loss, and the most unexpected miracle that changed everything. What happened next would test every belief I had about family, loyalty, and what it really means to be a parent. The delivery room had been chaos. After 5 long years of trying, countless treatments, and more tears than I could count, my wife Rebecca and I had finally been blessed with twins, but the celebration lasted exactly 47 seconds. That's how long it took for the doctors to notice something was wrong. The Barbies' heads were larger than normal, their cries were weak, and the looks on the medical team's faces told me everything before their words could. Hydrocephalus, fluid building up in the brain, both twins, severe cases. I watched Rebecca's face crumble as the neurologist explained what this meant. Surgeries, shunts, therapy, uncertainty. Maybe they'd improve, maybe they wouldn't. The doctor was honest but gentle, and I appreciated that even though every word felt like a knife. Before we go further, I want to know, where are you watching from right now, and what time is it where you are? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this story is already touching your heart, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Rebecca refused to hold them. When the nurses brought our son and daughter to her room, cleaned and wrapped in soft blue and pink blankets, she turned her head away. "Take them," she whispered. "I can't look at them." My heart broke in ways I didn't know were possible. These were our children, our miracle Barbies we'd prayed for. But when I looked at Rebecca, I didn't see the woman I married. I saw someone drowning in grief and fear, and I didn't know how to save her. I named them myself, Noah and Mandy, strong names, names that meant something. Noah for new beginnings, Mandy for the blessing they were, no matter what challenges lay ahead. The first surgery happened when they were 3 days old, tiny shunts placed in their skulls to drain the excess fluid. I sat in that waiting room for 4 hours, my mother beside me, while Rebecca stayed in her hospital bed and refused to come. When the surgeon said the operation went well, I cried. My mother cried. But Rebecca stared at the wall when I told her, like I was talking about strangers. We brought the Barbies home to our Connecticut estate 2 weeks later. The house had 23 rooms, 6 bathrooms, and more space than any family could need. But it felt empty, cold. Rebecca had barely spoken 10 words to me since the diagnosis. She wouldn't go near the nursery, wouldn't acknowledge the twins existed. My mother tried to help, God bless her. She'd come over every day, bringing food I couldn't eat and offering comfort I couldn't accept. But Rebecca started blaming her, said it was my mother's genetics, said her family had bad blood, said horrible things that made my mother cry for the first time in my life. 6 weeks after we came home, I woke up and Rebecca was gone. No note, no goodbye, just empty closets and a text message that said, "I can't be the mother they need, don't look for me." I sat on our bedroom floor holding that phone for an hour. Part of me wanted to chase her, part of me wanted to scream, but Noah started crying downstairs, and then Mandy joined in, and I realized I didn't have time for my own breakdown. Those Barbies needed someone, and I was all they had left. The next year was the hardest of my life. I hired nurses, good ones, professional caregivers who knew about special needs children. They fed the twins, changed them, administered medications, took them to doctor appointments. But something was missing. Noah and Mandy were surviving, but they weren't thriving. At 14 months old, they couldn't lift their heads properly, couldn't track objects with their eyes. The therapist said they needed more stimulation, more engagement, but the nurses were just doing a job. That's when I hired Doris. She came through an agency, a young woman from California with warm brown eyes and a smile that actually reached those eyes. Her resume was good, but not exceptional. Some childcare experience, references that checked out, nothing that explained why I felt such relief when she walked into my house for the interview. "Can I meet them?" was the first thing she asked. Most candidates wanted to discuss salary, hours, responsibilities. Doris wanted to see the twins. I took her to the nursery where Noah and Mandy were lying in their adaptive cribs, and she didn't hesitate. Walked right over, started talking to them in this soft, gentle voice. "Hi there, beautiful Barbies, I'm Doris, we're going to be great friends." Mandy made a sound, not quite a coo, but something, more than she'd given anyone else in weeks. I hired Doris on the spot. What I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that Doris had her own secrets, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The change started small. Doris would sing to the twins during feeding time, not nursery rhymes exactly, but made up songs about their day, their toys, what they were going to do tomorrow. She'd describe everything she was doing. "Now we're putting on your socks, Noah. They're soft blue socks. Can you feel how soft they are?" She researched their condition obsessively, came to me with questions about their therapy schedule, their exercises, what the doctors had said about their development potential. The nurses had done what was required. Doris wanted to do what was possible. "The therapist comes twice a week," I told her. "That's what insurance covers." "What if we did therapy every day?" Doris asked. "At home, between the professional sessions, would that help?" I didn't know, but I told her to try. She created routines. Every morning after breakfast, she'd lay Noah and Mandy on soft mats and work their little legs through gentle movements, bicycle motions, stretches, all while talking to them, encouraging them, celebrating every tiny response. She'd hold toys at different angles to strengthen their eye muscles. She'd play music and move their arms to the rhythm. The professional nurses thought she was wasting her time. "They're severely delayed," one told her. "You can't love them into being normal." Doris' response was simple. "I'm not trying to make them normal. I'm trying to help them be the best version of themselves." I started watching her more closely. There was something in the way she looked at Noah and Mandy. Not pity, not duty, something deeper. Love, yes, but also this fierce determination that reminded me of something I couldn't quite place. She'd been with us for 3 months when I came home early one day and heard her crying in the nursery. Not loud sobbing, just quiet tears while she rocked Mandy. I stood in the doorway, uncertain whether to interrupt. "I won't give up on you," she whispered to my daughter. "I promise, no matter what anyone says, no matter how hard it gets, I will never give up on either of you." That's when I knew Doris was different. That's when something shifted in my chest, though I wouldn't understand what it meant for a long time yet. Noah smiled for the first time at 18 months old. A real smile, not gas or a reflex. Doris had been making funny faces at him, and suddenly his whole face lit up. She screamed so loud, I came running from my office, thinking someone was hurt. "He smiled," she shouted, tears streaming down her face. "Francis, he smiled at me." I laughed and cried at the same time, and we both hugged Noah until he made annoyed baby sounds that made us laugh even harder. It was a small thing. Most Barbies smile at 6 weeks, but for us, it was everything. Mandy followed 2 weeks later, and then Noah started making more sounds, not words yet, but intentional noises. Communication. Doris documented everything in a journal, tracking every milestone, every improvement, every sign that the twins were beating the odds. Their second birthday came. The doctors were amazed at their progress. The shunts were working, the therapies were helping, but more than that, the love was working. I could see it in how Noah and Mandy responded to Doris versus everyone else, how they'd calm when they heard her voice, how they'd reach for her when she entered the room. I'd started looking forward to coming home, not just to see the twins, but to see Doris, to hear about their day, to watch her face light up when she described some new thing Noah had done, some small victory Mandy had achieved. My mother noticed. "You care about her," she said one Sunday afternoon. "Of course I care about her. She's wonderful with the twins." "Francis," my mother gave me that look, the one that said she could see right through me. "You care about her." I couldn't deny it anymore. Somewhere between the therapy sessions and the midnight feedings when Noah was fussy, between the small celebrations and the quiet moments watching Doris read to Mandy, I'd fallen in love with her. Not the desperate, passionate love I'd had with Rebecca. Something steadier, deeper, built on respect and shared purpose, and the kind of partnership I'd never known I needed. But she was my employee. It would be inappropriate to say anything, probably unwelcome, so I kept it to myself and tried to be content with what we had. Then came the day that changed everything. Noah took his first steps. He was 2 years and 4 months old. We were in the living room, me working on my laptop, Dory's playing with the twins on their mat. Mandy was working on stacking blocks, and Noah was doing his usual physical therapy exercises with Dory's help. Then Noah pulled himself up on the coffee table. He'd done this before, but this time he looked at Dory's across the room and let go, just stood there, wobbling for a full 5 seconds. "Francis," Dory's breathed. "Francis, look." I was already looking, already holding my breath. Noah took one step, wobbly, uncertain, but a step, then another. Then he fell and Dory's caught him, and we were both crying and laughing, and Noah was grinning like he'd just conquered the world, because he had. Mandy walked 3 weeks later. Her first steps were toward Dory's too, always Dory's. The twins started talking around 2.5, single words at first. Dory's was Mandy's first word, Noah's was up. But within months, they were stringing words together, asking questions, singing along with Dory's made-up songs. Every doctor who examined them called it remarkable, extraordinary, the kind of recovery you don't see with cases as severe as theirs had been. They'd never be exactly like other kids their age. They'd always need extra support, monitoring, but they were so far beyond what anyone had predicted that even the neurologist got emotional during their checkup. "Whatever you're doing," he told me, "keep doing it. This is nothing short of miraculous." I knew exactly what we were doing. We were loving them. Dory's was loving them, and that love was making all the difference. I proposed to Dory's on a Tuesday evening, 6 months after Noah's first steps. Nothing fancy. The twins were in bed, and we were sitting on the patio watching the sunset over the Connecticut hills. "I love you," I said, simple, true. She looked at me with those warm brown eyes, and for a moment I saw fear there. "Francis." "I love you," I repeated. "I love how you are with Noah and Mandy. I love your determination, your kindness, your strength. I love coming home to you. I love the life we've built together. And I know this might be complicated because you work for me, but I can't keep pretending I don't feel this way." "I love you too," she whispered. "I have for so long, but there's something I need to tell you." My heart stopped. "What?" She took a breath. "Can I tell you after you know my answer?" "Your answer to what?" She laughed, a bit wet with tears. "You haven't actually asked me anything." I got down on one knee right there. No ring, no plan, just my heart in my hands. "Dory's, will you marry me? Will you be my wife and the mother Noah and Mandy already think you are?" "Yes," she said. "Yes, of course, yes." We were married 2 months later. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Noah and Mandy were ring bearers, walking down the aisle holding hands, and there wasn't a dry eye in the place. My mother sobbed through the whole thing. Tears of joy, she kept saying. Finally, tears of joy. Dory's wore a simple white dress and flowers in her hair, and when I kissed her as my wife, I felt complete for the first time since Rebecca had left. We were a family, a real family, built not on biology or obligation, but on choice and love and commitment. Life was perfect, actually perfect. The twins were thriving, Dory's and I were happy, my business was doing well, we talked about maybe having more children someday, expanding our family. Everything I'd thought I lost when Rebecca left had been returned to me tenfold. Then Rebecca came back. It was a Saturday morning. The twins were 3 years old, playing in their playroom while Dory's and I made breakfast together. The kind of domestic scene I'd never thought I'd have. Then the doorbell rang. I opened the door and there she was, Rebecca, thinner than I remembered, older, but unmistakably my ex-wife. "Hello, Francis," she said. I couldn't speak, couldn't process, couldn't understand why she was standing on my doorstep after 3 years of silence. "I want to see my children," she said. "No," the word came out harsh, protective. "You gave up that right." They're still my children, biologically, legally. I never signed away my parental rights. She was right. We'd never divorced, never gone through legal proceedings. She just left. And now she was back, and I had no idea what she wanted or how to protect my family from whatever was coming. Doris appeared behind me. Francis, who's? She stopped, went pale, completely pale. Rebecca looked at Doris, really looked, and her face transformed, shock, recognition, rage. Doris, Rebecca's voice was ice. What are you doing here? You know each other. I looked between them, confused. Know her? Rebecca laughed, bitter and sharp. She's my sister. The world tilted. Everything I thought I knew rearranged itself into a completely different picture. Doris was Rebecca's sister. My wife was my ex-wife's sister. The woman I loved had been lying to me for 3 years. Francis, let me explain, Doris started. Explain what? Rebecca stepped forward. Explain how you stole my husband, stole my children. I leave for 3 years and come back to find you've taken over my entire life. You abandoned them, Doris' voice cracked. You left Noah and Mandy when they were Barbies. You walked away from Francis. I didn't steal anything. You threw it all away. Is this true? I asked Doris. You're her sister. You knew who I was when you applied for the job. Tears were streaming down Doris' face. Yes, but Francis, please, let me explain why. You lied to me. The betrayal cut deep. Every day for 3 years you lied. I was trying to protect them. Doris gestured toward the playroom where Noah and Mandy were oblivious to the implosion happening in the hallway. Rebecca abandoned her own children because they weren't perfect. Someone had to love them. Someone had to care. So you decided to play house with my family? Rebecca's eyes were cold. Always jealous of what I had, weren't you, little sister? Well, congratulations. You finally got it. I never wanted your life, Doris said quietly. I wanted to save the lives you destroyed. The argument escalated. Voices rising, old wounds opening, 3 years of pain and secrets and lies spilling out into the open. I couldn't process it all, couldn't separate the anger from the hurt, from the confusion. When I finally told them both to leave, Rebecca went willingly. I'll be back with a lawyer, she promised. Doris stood there, tears streaming down her face. Francis, please, let me explain everything. I need time, I said. I can't look at you right now. What about Noah and Mandy? I'll take care of them tonight. I need you to leave. I'll never forget the look on her face. Heartbreak and understanding and acceptance all at once. She nodded, went upstairs, packed a bag. She stopped by the playroom to say goodbye to the twins. I heard them asking when she'd be back, heard her voice break as she promised them soon. Then she was gone. I kept myself together long enough to put Noah and Mandy to bed, answered their questions about where Doris went with vague promises. But once they were asleep, I fell apart, sat on the floor of my bedroom and tried to make sense of everything. Doris was Rebecca's sister. She'd known who we were. She'd come into our lives deliberately with purpose. But why? Revenge? Competition? Or had she really just wanted to help? Days passed, then weeks. I hired another caretaker for the twins, a nice older woman who was perfectly competent. Noah and Mandy tolerated her, but they asked for Doris constantly. When is Doris coming home? We miss Doris. Can we call Doris? I didn't know what to tell them. Rebecca's lawyer contacted me. She wanted custody, wanted visitation, wanted to be part of the twins' lives. After 3 years of nothing, she suddenly wanted to be their mother. I fought back, got my own lawyer. The legal battle was ugly. Rebecca claimed postpartum depression, claimed she'd been getting treatment, claimed she was ready to be the mother she should have been from the start. My lawyer argued abandonment, neglect, that she'd given up her rights through her actions, even if not through paperwork. In the middle of all this, I was trying to run a business and raise 2 3-year-olds who were asking for someone I'd sent away. The twins started regressing, not physically, but emotionally. They were quieter, less happy. They'd wake up crying for Doris in the middle of the night. Noah stopped doing his exercises. Mandy stopped talking as much. The therapist noticed it immediately. What changed? She asked me. They were doing so well. Everything changed. That's what I wanted to say. The person who made them believe they could do anything was gone, and it was my fault. I was drowning, and I'd sent away the only person who knew how to keep me afloat. My mother came over one evening about 4 months after Dory's left. She found me sitting in the twins' playroom, surrounded by toys neither of them wanted to play with anymore. "Francis," she said gently, "you're breaking your own heart and theirs. She lied to me, Mom, for 3 years. She loved them for 3 years. She loved you. Whatever her reasons for coming here, what she did while she was here was real. You know that." I did know that. Every moment with Dory's had been real. The laughter, the tears, the small victories, the quiet nights. The way she looked at the twins, the way she looked at me. You can't fake that kind of love. What if she only came because of guilt? I asked. What if it was all about proving something to Rebecca? Does it matter? My mother sat beside me. She showed up. She stayed. She fought for those Barbies when everyone else said they were hopeless. She gave you back your life. Whatever brought her here, what matters is what she chose to do once she arrived. She was right, but my pride was wounded. My trust was shattered, and I didn't know how to put those pieces back together. 5 months after Dory's left, I was in Los Angeles for a business meeting. Important investors, potentially major deal. I should have been focused. Instead, I was thinking about Noah's question that morning. Did Dory's stop loving us? The meeting ended early. I had 3 hours before my flight back to Connecticut. I decided to grab dinner at this little restaurant near my hotel. Nothing fancy, just food. That's where I saw her. Dory's was carrying a tray of drinks, her hair pulled back, wearing a server's uniform. She looked tired, thinner, like she hadn't been sleeping well. She didn't see me at first, focused on taking orders at another table. My heart stopped, then started racing, then broke all over again because the woman I loved was serving tables 3,000 miles from home instead of being with the family that needed her. She turned and saw me. The tray wobbled. For a second I thought she'd drop it, but she steadied herself, delivered the drinks, and then walked over to my table. "Hi," she said quietly. "Hi. What are you doing in Los Angeles?" "Business meeting. What are you doing in Los Angeles?" "Living, working, trying to figure out how to breathe when half my heart is in Connecticut with 2 kids who probably hate me." "They don't hate you, they miss you, constantly. Mandy sleeps with the stuffed rabbit you gave her. Noah asks for you every single day." Tears filled her eyes. "How are they?" "Struggling, we all are." She nodded, wiped her eyes. "I should get back to work." "Dory's, wait." I grabbed her hand. "Why did you do it? Why did you come into our lives pretending to be someone else?" She sat down across from me, still holding my hand. When Rebecca left, she called me, crying, said she'd made a terrible mistake getting pregnant, that the twins were defective, that she couldn't handle it. I was furious. I'd been trying to have a baby for 2 years and couldn't, and here she was throwing away 2 perfect children just because they needed extra love. "You wanted children." More than anything, I'd just been through my 3rd miscarriage when Rebecca called, and I just kept thinking about those Barbies, alone with a father who was probably devastated and nurses who saw them as a job. I thought about what would happen to them if no one really loved them, if no one fought for them. "So you came to save them." "I came to love them," she corrected. "That's all. I never meant to fall in love with you. I never meant to become part of the family. I just wanted to make sure Noah and Mandy had someone who saw them as the miracles they were." "Why didn't you tell me? Would you have hired me if you knew I was Rebecca's sister? Would you have trusted me? Or would you have seen me as part of the family that abandoned you?" She was right. I would have sent her away immediately. Fear, anger, distrust. I would never have given her a chance. "I fell in love with you, Francis," Dory's continued. "I never expected that. And by the time I realized what was happening, I was in too deep. I knew I should tell you, but I was terrified of losing you, losing the twins. So I kept the secret, and I'm so sorry. You have no idea how sorry I am." I looked at this woman across from me, the woman who'd dedicated 3 years to my children, who'd loved them when no one else would, who'd helped them beat the odds, who'd built a family from broken pieces. "Come home," I said. "What?" "Come home, please. Noah and Mandy need you. I need you." "What about Rebecca, the lawyers?" "Rebecca might be their biological mother, but you're their real mother. You're the one who showed up, who stayed, who fought for them, and I don't care about blood or biology or legal definitions. I care about love, and you loved my children when loving them was hard." She was crying now, full tears. "What about the lying? You lied about your identity, but everything else was real, wasn't it? Your love for the twins, your feelings for me, our marriage, that was all real." "All of it," she whispered, "every single moment." "Then come home." I cancelled my flight. We talked for 6 hours at that restaurant until her shift ended and the manager told us we had to leave. We found a coffee shop and talked more about Rebecca, about the twins, about what we'd both been through the last 5 months, about what we wanted for our future. Doris told me everything, how she'd watched Rebecca her whole life get everything easily, beauty, success, the perfect husband, while Doris struggled, how she'd never been jealous until Rebecca threw it all away like it meant nothing, how she'd applied for the job using her middle name and a fake last name, terrified I'd recognize her but desperate to help. "I saw pictures of Noah and Mandy from the hospital," she said. "Rebecca showed them to me, complaining about how they looked, how disappointed she was, and all I could see was 2 beautiful Barbies who deserved to be loved. I couldn't stop thinking about them, couldn't sleep, couldn't function. I had to do something." "You saved them," I said. "You know that, right? The doctors said without that level of dedication, they never would have progressed the way they did. You gave them their lives back." "They gave me mine," Doris said. "I was broken when I came to you, lost, grieving children I'd never have, and Noah and Mandy healed me, loving them put me back together." We flew back to Connecticut together the next morning. I'll never forget walking through the front door with Doris beside me, the twins in the living room with the caretaker. Mandy saw her first. "Doris," she screamed it. Both twins came running, actually running, their little legs pumping, the kind of movement that would have been impossible 3 years ago. Doris dropped to her knees and caught them both, sobbing into their hair while they climbed all over her. "I missed you," she kept saying. "I missed you so much." "We missed you too," Noah said. "Don't leave again." "Never," Doris promised. "I'm never leaving again." The caretaker I'd hired gathered her things quietly, understanding without being told that her services were no longer needed. I paid her generously and thanked her for filling in, but we all knew who really belonged here. Rebecca's custody case fell apart pretty quickly once my lawyer presented evidence of her abandonment. The judge wasn't impressed with her sudden interest in motherhood after 3 years of silence. She was granted supervised visitation, a few hours every other month, but the twins barely knew her. They'd politely call her by her first name and ask when they could go back to Doris. The first visit was painful to watch. Rebecca brought expensive toys and talked to Noah and Mandy like they were strangers, which, in a way, they were. She asked them questions about their favorite things, and they gave short answers. Looking uncomfortable, when she tried to hug Mandy, my daughter went stiff. "She smells different," Mandy told Doris later, "not like home." Eventually, Rebecca stopped trying. The visits became less frequent, then stopped altogether. She sent birthday cards for a while, then those stopped too. Last I heard, she'd moved to Europe and remarried. I hoped she found happiness there, hoped she found peace with her choices. But I was grateful every single day that she left, because her leaving brought Doris into our lives. Doris and I worked on rebuilding trust. It wasn't easy. There were nights I'd lie awake wondering what else she might not have told me, moments of doubt that crept in, but she was patient, answered every question, showed me bank statements proving she'd never taken money from Rebecca, showed me the journal she'd kept from the beginning, full of notes about the twins' progress and her own feelings. "I wrote this in case you ever found out," she told me. "I wanted you to understand why I came, what I was thinking, how much I came to love all of you." Reading those entries broke me. Page after page of her fears, her hopes, her growing love for two Barbies who the world had written off. Her shock when she realized she was falling for me, her guilt over the deception, her terror that the truth would come out and destroy everything. "I would have told you," she wrote in one entry 6 months before Rebecca returned. "I want to tell Francis the truth every day, but I'm so afraid, not for me. I'd accept whatever consequences came, but Noah and Mandy need stability. They need love. They need someone who won't leave them. And if telling the truth means I have to go, then I'm choosing them over my own need for honesty. I'll carry this secret forever if it means they keep getting better." That's when I fully forgave her, not because the lie didn't matter, but because I understood she'd made every choice, even the wrong ones, thinking about my children first. We got married again, a real ceremony this time with no secrets. Our vows were different, more honest, more real. We promised to choose each other every day, not just when it's easy, to build our family on truth and love and commitment. Noah and Mandy were our ring bearers again. At 4 years old now, they walked down the aisle holding hands and carrying the rings on little pillows. Mandy kept waving at people in the audience. Noah took his job very seriously, concentrating hard on not dropping the rings. When they reached the altar, they both hugged Dory's legs and refused to let go until we promised they could stay up there with us. So we got married with 2 4-year-olds standing between us, holding our hands, and it was perfect. More perfect than any traditional ceremony could have been, because this was our family, messy, unconventional, built on second chances and choices and love that refused to quit. We had another baby last year, a daughter named Hope. Noah and Mandy are obsessed with their little sister. They fight over who gets to help feed her, change her, rock her to sleep. Mandy likes to read to Hope from her favorite books. Noah sings her the same made-up songs Dory's used to sing to him. Watching them with Hope made me realize something. The twins don't remember Rebecca. They have no memories of the woman who gave birth to them. Their first memories, their foundational experiences of love and family, are all with Dory's. She's the only mother they've ever known in any meaningful way. Sometimes people ask Dory's if it bothers her that she didn't give birth to the twins, if it's hard raising children who aren't biologically hers. She always says the same thing: being a mother isn't about biology, it's about showing up. It's about loving someone when it's hard. It's about choosing them every single day, especially when things don't go according to plan. That's what love is, not the fairy tale, not the perfect picture. Love is the choice you make when everything falls apart. Love is staying when leaving would be easier. Love is looking at broken things and seeing beauty. Love is the unglamorous work of showing up, day after day, whether anyone's watching or not. Rebecca gave Noah and Mandy life, but Dory's gave them love. And in the end, love is what makes a family. Noah and Mandy are 6 now. They're in 1st grade, doing amazing. They still have some delays, probably always will, but they're reading, writing, playing with friends, living full lives. Their doctors call them miracle children. I call them mine. The school had a Mother's Day celebration last spring. The kids were supposed to write about their moms. Mandy wrote, "My mom is the best because she never gave up on me. When I was a baby and couldn't walk, she helped me every day until I could. She says I can do anything if I try hard enough. I love my mom." Noah drew a picture of Dory's holding him and Mandy with the caption, "My mom makes everything better." Neither of them mentioned biology. Neither of them questioned who their real mother was. To them, there was no question. Dory's was their mom, period. I framed both of those projects. They hang in my office now. On hard days, when business deals fall through or stress piles up, I look at them and remember what really matters. Not money, not success, not the perfect plan. What matters is the people who show up for you, who fight for you, who choose you every single day. We're all in the living room right now as I finish writing this. Noah and Mandy are teaching Hope to stack blocks. Dory's is making dinner in the kitchen, singing one of her made-up songs. It's chaotic and messy and loud and absolutely perfect. This is my family, not the one I planned, not the one I expected, but the one I chose and the one that chose me back. The twins have physical therapy twice a week still, probably will for years. They'll always be a bit behind their classmates in some areas, but they don't see themselves as broken or defective. They see themselves as kids who had to work a little harder, who had to be a little braver. And they have a mother who taught them that challenges don't define you, how you face them does. I think about the man I was 5 years ago, standing in that hospital hallway hearing the worst news of my life. I think about how lost I felt when Rebecca left, how hopeless everything seemed, and I'm grateful, actually grateful, because that pain led me here, to this life, to this family, to this woman who came into our lives as a stranger with a secret and became the heart of everything. Sometimes blessings come wrapped in disasters. Sometimes the thing that breaks you is actually breaking you open to let better things in. Sometimes losing what you thought you wanted is the only way to get what you actually need. Here are 10 moral lessons of the story. 1. True motherhood is defined not by biology, but by the love, sacrifice, and daily commitment shown to a child. 2. Abandoning people during their hardest moments reveals character, while staying through difficulties builds it. 3. Disabilities do not diminish a child's worth or potential. Love and dedication can help them exceed all expectations. 4. Secrets, even those kept with good intentions, can damage trust and should be handled carefully in relationships. 5. Sometimes the family we choose becomes more real than the family we are born into. 6. Miracles often come through human hands, through the consistent small acts of love and patience we show others. 7. When we reject people because they don't meet our expectations, we may be throwing away our greatest blessings. 8. Forgiveness and second chances are important, but patterns of abandonment should not be rewarded with immediate trust. 9. Hard work, dedication, and refusing to give up on people can transform outcomes that everyone else calls impossible. 10. Love is not a feeling, but a choice made daily, especially when circumstances make that choice difficult. If this story touched your heart, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment and tell me what this story meant to you. Tell me about a time when something that seemed terrible turned into something beautiful. Tell me about the people in your life who showed up when others walked away. Because these stories, these real, messy, beautiful stories about choosing love over comfort, they need to be told. And I'll keep telling them as long as you keep listening. Your story matters too. Share it in the comments. Let's build a community of people who believe in second chances, who believe in fighting for the ones we love, who believe that family is about choice and commitment and showing up, not just about blood. Subscribe, like, and let's keep this conversation going.